Meanwhile, surveillance video shows children running through an apartment complex parking lot in Lindenwold, New Jersey, some yelling ICE, ICE, as federal immigration agents carried out an operation nearby. The 4th and 5th graders had been waiting for their school bus when multiple law enforcement vehicles arrived, sparking panic and confusion. You see them running there. 10-year-old Dylan, a U.S. citizen, told CBS News the morning started like any other until classmates began shouting.
Out of nowhere, people would just start running, saying that ICE is over there, and everybody was running, and we all were scared.
Dylan describes a chaotic scene. He told us agents started following him as he ran home. In this home security video, Dylan is frantically banging on the door, pleading for his mom to let him in.
Were you worried that ICE was going to try to get inside your home?
Yes.
The Lindenwold School District told families the presence of several enforcement vehicles caused significant fear and confusion, and that the bus driver circled back to make sure students were transported safely. The district emphasized that ICE agents were not at the schools themselves. Democratic Congressman Donald Norcross of New Jersey is calling for transparency now, telling CBS News DHS has to come forward, be transparent. If you're doing the right thing, then there should be no problem. About 300 people gathered in Lindenwold on Friday following that incident in support of the town's Latino community. One first-time protester, fighting back tears, said he never wants to see kids running from their own government again.
So I've never protested before in my entire life, but sorry. I watched 4th and 5th grade kids run away from our own government. I never want to see that again. And I'm not going to stand by and watch my neighbors run away scared. That's not Camden County. That's not New Jersey. It's not the United States.
It honestly gives me chills watching that man out there feeling so motivated to protest and just register the kind of person that he wants to be and the kind of community he wants to protect. But let's stay focused on the aspect of the deportation policy when it comes to kids, because there's new reporting from the Bulwark that's raising serious questions about conditions inside the Dilley Immigration Processing Center in Texas, where families say kids are suffering. One case involved an 18-month-old girl who was hospitalized for respiratory failure. She was then sent back to detention and allegedly denied her prescribed medication. The child was released only after an emergency court filing. Then there's another story, a 13-year-old girl who reportedly attempted self-harm after months in custody and a denied asylum claim. Her treatment for self-harm seemed to be exclusively a prescription for sleeping pills. Another woman, detained while awaiting a breast cancer biopsy, says she's not consistently receiving her medication. Earlier, I spoke with the author of that article, national immigration correspondent for the Bulwark, Adrian Carrasquillo, about those being held at Dilley.
The face of mass deportation now is not these criminals, these violent, hardened criminals that we were promised, but it is children and families and parents being taken from communities who have roots in these communities. There's people who have humanitarian parole, others who are married to U.S. citizens. There's pregnant women giving birth to newborn babies inside this facility.
So, John, as we grapple with the question of can shame motivate change, is this a moment where, maybe not around Epstein, but around immigration, when we hear these stories inside places like Dilley, does that spur the administration to change? Or is it just that they put a different face like Tom Homan on their immigration effort and continue doing the same thing?
You know, Allie, I think there are a couple things to say about this aspect of the story. One is obviously we're building tons of new ICE detention facilities. You know, there's been controversy about that. I know you've covered it. That's one of the new focuses in this story. And I think it's one of the great, unlike what happened in Minneapolis, where we got to see so much, you know, the deployment of so many cell phone video cameras, so many people who are out taking images of what's going on there. What's happening in those detention facilities is largely happening behind closed doors. We have very little visibility into it. And if you imagine, just without, you know, being able to, the reporting that we're reading, like the reporting from the Bulwark, is terrifying. But, you know, it's just a drop in the bucket. If you think about what happened in Minneapolis on the streets, imagine, well, that's what's happening in clear public view. What's happening behind closed doors, one imagines, one can reasonably speculate, is considerably worse. And so I think there's going to be a lot of focus on this particular issue. I don't know. I'm kind of going to make predictions about what the administration is going to do. I think that the politics of this have been nothing but bad for the Republican Party and for Donald Trump. Their numbers have shown that. It's been pretty